We're asking them a lot of different questions that are there to customize the product, but they're also there to customize the user experience.
Because the other thing that happens is if you do lots of annuals, you end up with lumpy revenue as well, and you want a beautiful growth.
With a software company like this, it requires a lot of people, it requires a lot of capital.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Pitch for Investment Online. This is Othership's monthly pitch event where we're going to put 5 of our founders in front of our wonderful panel of investors. And now we're going to go over to Tyler to pitch next. Tyler is pitching on behalf of WeShape, a new platform that is there to tailor your exercise plans to you.
Well, my name is Tyler. I'm one of the co-founders of a company called WeShape. And what we believe is that the future is affordable, customized fitness. Now, the reason we believe this is my partner and I have been in this business for 15 years, the health and fitness business. And as we transition from brick and mortar to selling digital products online, we noticed something really powerful. And that was that one size fits all fitness programs simply do not work. And we believe the reason why they don't work is because we asked 62,000 people, what do you feel the main challenges with most online fitness programs? And the 2 things they said were that no program meets my needs and I need to help feeling motivated. And so what we designed was a program called, let me get this here, WeShape. And WeShape essentially is a fitness product that feels like having a personal trainer without the cost. And the user experience is integrated all the way from content through marketing, all the way into the product experience as well. So essentially, the goal is to make them feel like they're walking into a gym, the personal trainer's asking them questions. We use those questions, we pull from over 9,000 different video files to assemble a customized follow-along workout into their program. Throughout the workout, we focus on good form. We spend a lot of time trying to develop systems to teach people good form in a very simple way. And then the real magic happens is that throughout the workout, we're asking people, how did that movement feel for you? Was that too hard, too easy, or just right? And depending on somebody's answers, we're gonna scale that movement up, down, or the same for them in real time based on their feedback. So this is a video playing software that can sequentially load multiple video files and customize a workout program for each individual user. So the market here is really huge. The fitness market is a $190 billion a year global fitness market. Digital fitness is currently at $13 billion. And we believe that the serviceable obtainable market for us is $360 million, which is really just predicated on us being able to get 1 million active members. The real big deal though is I believe there's a huge opportunity taking us from that serviceable obtainable market to basically the digital fitness market becoming purely customized. There's no sense in not being customized, and technology is built to basically democratize the ability for people to have stuff that only the rich people can have. And only the rich people can afford personal training right now. And so we're trying to democratize that for everybody. And why now? Well, the fitness industry is slated to grow 128% by 2028. That's a huge amount of growth, but digital fitness is slated to grow 486% by 2028. And I think the big thing here is that currently, based on our research, only about 4% of the digital fitness market is focused on customized fitness, and not a single one of them are affordable. So talking about that, we have a bunch of digital fitness apps out there, Apple Fitness, Daily Burn, Beachbody On Demand, and none of these are customized follow-along workout systems. They're all just kind of generic systems. And so they're not really a competitor of ours in any sense. What we're trying to do is compete with companies like Tonal, Tempo, and Mirror, who are trying to create a personalized experience for each one of their users. The downside of those companies, though, is that a lot of them require a live personal trainer, meaning it's not incredibly scalable. And they cost a lot of money, they take a lot of time, require equipment, et cetera. And we're able to do that by just giving somebody a product that they can put on their phone, their tablet, their desktop, and we can do it for an incredibly low price, less than $40 a month, instead of somebody having to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on hardware up front. So, and another thing that sets us apart about WeShape is, you remember what I said? They said that they need help with motivation. And so we've really taken a lot of time to figure out what motivates people to actually use a product like this. And what we found is the fitness industry for the longest time has played on people's insecurities, and it's basically given people extrinsic motivation to show up. They want to change the way they look in order to show up so that they can receive praise from outside themselves. And so what we do is we educate them on that cycle, and then we help them develop intrinsic motivation throughout their onboarding process. From there, we actually connect people with a community inside the product, acts like being a part of a Facebook community, but with all positive reinforcement. And then we also set people up with coaching groups and support groups where we're really, really focused on helping people connect with their goals and start to understand how to develop the intrinsic motivation. Big thing here is that when we implemented all of this psychological tactics, we doubled our trial conversion rate. So that was a big deal, and we're really focusing heavily on this side of the business right now. So It's important to note that WeShape is not just an idea. We built the product and self-funded it ourselves. We launched it in December of 2021. And since then, we've been optimizing the marketing process, the product, everything we possibly can to try and make the unit economics incredibly scalable. There's a lot of data on here, so I won't go into crazy detail, but I think the big things to focus on here are our organic content marketing is growing in terms of the amount of sales we're getting from that. The cost to acquire a customer when we first started was $321. That was obviously not scalable, but in the last 3 quarters, we've been able to take down to $64. We've been able to take our trial conversion from 40.9 to 56.2 in Q3. And we've taken our payback window from basically not being able to make any money to taking it down to month 4 right now. And currently, our first month in January, we made 24,000, and Q1 was 188, Q2 was 314, Q3 was 319, and we expect to grow continuously from there. So the revenue model that we have right now is really simple. We have an organic content marketing strategy that has just been blowing up the business over the last 6 to 8 months. We're posting contextual content as often as possible on all of our social media platforms and currently have over 1 million followers. So this helps us build a really strong audience. And what we do with this audience is we then remarket to them, we run advertising to them, we optimize our sales process so that we go from awareness all the way to successful signups. So it's a subscription model business. And then we focus on optimizing features to increase that trial, retention, and revenue. So we've got an amazing team already. Some of the most key players are right here. Katie and I have made the Inc. 500 list 3 separate times in the past, with our top 3-year growth being 1,977%. We have a lot of experience in selling digital health and fitness products, have sold over $200 million in revenue in online health and fitness products over the last 10 years. And then we have some really great other people on the team to help us back this up. And the big opportunity we see right now is that in Q1, we're going to have a much lower cost to acquire a customer. We've been doing this for a long time, and so we understand that typically the CAC goes down by anywhere between 30 to 50% in Q1 because of people's interest levels. And so what we're trying to do is raise capital to scale the company. And essentially, if we increase our acquisition, we'll be able to pass over the burn line and get us to profitability here, hopefully by the end of Q2. So the goal of WeShape right now, we're trying to raise a $2.5 million seed round with a valuation cap of 11 million. Target ROI is 40x or more, and the exit time hopefully is within 5 to 7 years. So there you guys have it, WeShape.
Great pitch, Tyler. Thank you for that. So currently you've got around, I'm guessing around 8,000 customers, 8,000.
2,800, paying an average of about 30, 35 a month. Okay.
And there was a little bit of some growth between Q2 and Q3. I bet you get that question a lot. 3.8, 3.15, 3.18, like there wasn't a lot of growth. Yeah. Why do you think that's happening?
Well, we started out in the beginning of the year trying to acquire a stable base of users so we could actually collect data on the product and iterate. It was about July, we started to realize that we are spending too much on acquisition and we're not optimizing as fast as we need to. So we just lowered the acquisition costs or the acquisition budget, so.
Okay, makes sense. There's so many platforms out there, like a lot. We see them all the time. And a lot of them are claiming the same thing, like customized, personalized, etc. I know you mentioned why you're different, but I also hear the same thing about others. And I'm curious to know, like, what are you planning on doing differently so that you can take that 300 to 600 and million over the next few quarters?
Yeah, so I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's really difficult to knock off a product like this because it involves 3 different elements. Element number 1 is technology. Obviously, that could be knocked off. We do have some patents pending on that side of things to make sure that we're a little bit defensible in that area. Number 2, make sure that we have the content displayed properly. And again, like I said, this is 9,000 different video files being assembled in a different order. And as we continue to iterate the product, the goal is to continue to further customize. So as an example, our intake process for our users is a quiz, similar to the company Noom, for example. We collect a lot of data throughout this that we can use to customize their marketing and their product. One of the things we're working on is creating psychographic buckets in that quiz so that we can start understanding what's this user's main problem with their own self-image that's preventing them from staying motivated, and how do we then contextualize the inspirations throughout the workout where somebody's saying, hey, come on, you can do this, based on their psychological deficiencies, right? So we're trying to take this from a lot of different fronts. One is, the programming side of things and making sure that everything's rooted in biomechanics. It's important to know, like, WeShape is not about pumping muscles and doing cardio. We're about connecting with your body, teaching people how to move their bodies better, and helping them move away from showing up to their workouts out of self-judgment and moving towards self-care as well. So differentiation in brand, content's really difficult to knock off. I don't think you could ever understand our product without getting access to all of the data on the back end and how we built it. So
I can imagine. One of the reasons why people drop out or drop off from platforms like this is this is something that we did research on. The power of live sessions, classes or personal training, etc., is you are committing to a time, and you can't really like not go. You've paid in advance, or you've committed you committed to go at 5 p.m. to work out, you know. And when it's a self-driven, self-motivated type of a workout, a lot of people end up working out less. So I'm sure you've seen this and you understand this. What are your thoughts on that? Because that's the tricky bit.
I think it's really important. So one of the things that we do in the platform is we give people the opportunity to create a schedule that works for them, and we give them the opportunity to adjust that schedule as they go. We ask them to do a minimum of 2 workouts per week, but they can do a maximum of 7. And as time goes on, our goal is to add a new feature. For example, we're deploying, I think, either December and January, it's a time variability. So if somebody can come into their workout and we say, hey, do you still have 30 minutes? And they say, no, I only have 10. And then we'll be able to customize the workout down to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, give them a lot more convenience in that respect. But you're touching on something more important too, which is that psychological aspect of community. And so outside of the live aspect of this, I want this to be scalable. My goal is to be able to take you and turn you into a trainer with 5 days of filming, and you never have to show up ever again. And I have a trainer who can do an infinite amount of things for anybody out there, right? So I don't want to go down the live avenue for the actual training itself. Plus, if you go live, you can't actually contextualize an exercise to somebody based on who they are right then. It's impossible. So what we ended up doing is we ended up creating support groups. And what the support groups are essentially is a call like this, where we bring people together, we have topical discussions about their struggles and stuff. And that is where we think we're going to build that sustainable base of users who are going to be there for the very, very, very long haul. So we're focusing more like, hey, what was Weight Watchers' secret? Get people in a room and have them be vulnerable and real with each other. And we're going to do the same thing.
Okay. Well, great stuff. Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, welcome. Good questions.
Hey, Tyler. So the first thing I'm interested in is the user journey. First, what are the first 5 minutes of the user journey?
Is the user journey related to the sales process, or the user journey related to the process of?
I download the app. What are the first 5 minutes that I have with the app, with the interaction?
Right. So I think I'll take this from the moment they like join to think that they're about to do a workout. So, you know, again, I said that our marketing process is very similar to Noom, and that we have about a 70 question quiz right now. We're asking them a lot of different questions that are there to customize the product, but they're also there to customize the user experience. The thought process for me was always like, when I used to be a personal trainer, I'd sit down with somebody, I'd ask them a bunch of questions, take them through a workout, and then afterwards I'd be like, hey, here's all the stuff it can do for you. And it was the same stuff they told me they were looking for. So we're trying to create a process that feels similar to that, so we can increase the ability to get those sales and customize the product at the same time. So we give people a sample workout when they first sign up, or if they sign up directly, we take them straight into the onboarding process. The first thing we focus on getting them to do is follow along to our assessment workout. We have a series of 3 workouts that are an assessment workout that we use different movements that they're using throughout those workouts to then further inform the other workouts what movements to be using based on their kind of feedback throughout those workouts. So we have an indoctrination process that's very like, hey, welcome, here's the start, like, here's what you need to do, you know, go slow with us. And then for those first few days, the whole focus is just getting them on doing the workouts, signing up for one of our calls, and engaging with the community.
Awesome. And my last question is, I think you mentioned the number of subscribers and the CAC, but can you tell me the number of downloads and your CPI?
So the cost per acquisition on a trial currently is somewhere between $60 and $70.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, the cost per install.
Yeah, so it's not, currently this is a web-based application. That's the other thing. We haven't activated into a mobile application with that process either. That's also something we had to make a decision on. We were gonna appify it prior to Q1, but we also thought, okay, we're doing well with our existing strategy, and let's lean into this. And you know, I've done the online sales game for a long time, and whenever I diversified too much, I failed. Whenever I lasered in on something, I won. And so I'm lasering in on it to try and win right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good questions, by the way.
Cool. Actually, I had a lot of questions around your actual subscription model as well, and so it's been really interesting that you've started to dive into that. And I 100% agree. You just got to pick something and work with it and get some lessons, because you could try 100 different things and you'll get a whole lot of lessons, but I'm not sure how many of them you'll be able to then apply and get some certainty around. So you just have to run with something and get enough data to learn. So I completely agree with you on that front. So you just mentioned cost of acquisition was about $70, and I think you said that was for a trial, correct?
That's correct.
And your conversion rate's like 56% from trial to paid, is that correct? So your cost of a paying customer is more like $125. Does that sound about right?
No, it'd be more like 90 to 100.
Okay. Your memberships have some upfronts and some monthlies. So in terms of the subscribers that you've got so far, what does that profile look like in terms of people who pay upfront versus people who pay monthly?
That's a good question. So initially we started with just a simple, template for the plan selection element of our sales page. And we didn't focus on split testing that all that much until the last couple of months. But one thing that made a huge impact on our day 14 revenue per user was really consciously adjusting the distribution of those plans. And so what we've been trying to do recently is taking the distribution from what it was for the first 7 or 8 months of the year, which was 70% monthly, about 25%, 25% quarterly, and about 5% yearly. And so we started messing with that section and just using design to try and change the plan distribution. We changed it from that to somewhere in the neighborhood of like 25, 45, and I believe 20% now. And that changed the game on our day 14 cash flow. And also it changed the game on our cycle 6, LTV projections based on our churn rates on each one of those plans. And so, one of the things we're trying to focus on right now is what if we could get the yearly to cover the cost of acquisition, and quarterly and monthly becomes the profitability of the business. And another thing we recently implemented, is like 2 weeks old, so I don't have a ton of data on it yet. But when somebody buys a quarterly plan or a monthly plan, we're trying to just upsell them on the next subscription up right out the gates. And they're going to pay on day 1, not 14 days later. And currently we have about a 25% take rate on that. And it's really changing the game on the cash flow landscape when it comes to our media buying efforts.
Yeah. So, I mean, you will know this, but there's a dirty 5-letter word that you're going to live and die by called churn.
Yeah.
So never mind the trial conversion. You said you got 2,800 customers now. How many paying customers have you signed up? So they've got through trial to paid. What sort of churn have you had on, obviously not on the annuals, but on the monthlies and the quarterlies?
Yeah. I'd have to get that data back to you at another point. I don't want to give you a ballpark number.
Yeah. Cool. So every time you ask for money, for this business, people will ask you about churn, because that will be the difference between being worth something and being worth something, right? And my final recommendation, because I've been not in this business, but in a recurring revenue business that we raised capital and we IPO'd, your revenue recognition. So if you get an annual subscription, are you splitting that annual subscription over 12 months, or are you recognizing it all up front?
We're recognizing it up front.
Yeah, you need to change that, because, and Ben's laughing because Ben's been through this with me as well before I invested in Othership. You need to split it over the term of the contract, because that is how, when an investor looks at your monthly recurring revenues, that is how they'll look at it. If you want to IPO, the accounting standards will require you to restate all your revenues, and you'll have to go back and redo 3 years of accounts, and it will be the biggest nightmare in the world for you. So my strong recommendation is to change that as soon as possible.
Is that for financial projections? Is that correct?
For your projections, but also for your actual reporting. Because the other thing that happens is, if you do lots of annuals, you end up with lumpy revenue as well, and you want a beautiful growth.
Right. That's the one thing I noticed with the financial projections is, if we start scaling acquisition, we have a nice little start, and then it kind of humps out, and then at another year it's another hump, and another year it's another hump. So I can understand how to smooth out the process.
Honestly, just change it now. Trust me.
Sounds good. I trust you.
Cheers. Thanks.
And thank you so much, everybody, for watching. This has been Pitch for Investment Online by Othership. If you want to find links to our other events or some of our previous videos, you can find them in the description, along with links to Othership's workspace solutions, flexible working software, events, and online community. Thank you so much for joining.